welcome to all my listeners and friends from all over the world. I'm so glad that each one of you could join me today. I've got an awesome message planned for you, and I want to tell everyone a happy belated 4th of July for those of you who celebrate that holiday. As always, I want to thank all the networks out there for broadcasting my show and even rebroadcasting my show. Before I forget, there's a couple of things that I want to throw out there for you folks before I start my show. First thing I want to say is I want to thank Simply Steve for sending me this beautiful rose for my podcast page. Simply Steve, if you're listening, that absolutely made my day. I love that rose. After last week's show, where I had mentioned that roses were my favorite flower, Simply Steve posted to my podcast page the most incredible, beautiful yellow rose. So thank you so much for that. I really love that. The second thing that I want to put out there this morning is one of our dear friends on the network is going through some things in their lives today. And so right now, Michael, if you're listening out there, I want to tell everybody out there that Michael needs your prayers today. His family needs your prayers today. So if you guys are listening out there, please show him some love and throw a few prayers for him and his family. And right now, before I start my message, I want to send a song out there to you, Michael. I want to let you know that Shaziz and I are thinking of you, and we love you. Hold on just one second. I want to play this song for you. Okay, welcome back, listeners. That song was dedicated to Michael this morning. I just want to say that I hope today brings your situation better. I hope all is going well, but we'll keep praying for you. Isn't it great to have so many awesome friends from all over the world? I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm blessed to call you my friend. If I hadn't started this weekly Hope Show, I would seriously have missed out on all these blessings I have received from each and every one of you. The biggest blessing being getting to know you. Last week I mentioned that there is a method to my madness. When I play my songs during the shows, if you listen carefully, the second and sometimes the third song in my intro songs are the clues to what the weekly message is going to be about. Then throughout the show I play other songs that pertain to the message as well. So with that having been said, today's message is titled Road Rage. Life is a highway. Everyone probably knows what road rage is. If you're like me, you've probably experienced it many, many times, and perhaps just about every time you get behind the wheel of your car to go somewhere. We are going to talk about how road rage compares to life. Road rage is defined by an act of aggression or anger by the driver of an automobile directed toward the driver of another automobile. Also included in that is road rage toward pedestrians. Road rage is the act of endangering someone, another motorist, or even a pedestrian due to your act of aggression while you're driving. Such behavior may include rude gestures, someone showing you that you are number one. I'm sure many of you have had that gesture before. Verbal insults, driving in an unsafe or threatening manner, etc. Road rage can lead to altercations, assaults, collisions, and result in injuries and even death. You may be thinking to yourself, how does this compare to life? There are actually many parallels between road rage on our roadways and rage in our own lives. Life is a journey. It's not a destination. We get angry with life and oftentimes tend to treat people in our lives as we do the other motorists we encounter behind the wheel of a car. Life is a highway. It's one big journey. And we are all on our own journey, coexisting together and not always merging very well in the process. We get angry. We get impatient. We want to run these folks off the road. These people are holding us back. They're detaining us, slowing us down. We have places to go, people to see. But do we ever stop to consider why the other person is behaving as they are? Most of the time we don't. We simply don't care. We just know that they are creating a big inconvenience for us. We just want them to stop being inconvenient. Just let us pass. But have you ever thought that maybe these people are not from our state? Maybe they don't know our laws. Maybe they are lost and driving slow because they're looking for a sign to tell them where they should be. Maybe they are elderly and they don't see very well. Maybe they don't feel comfortable in their ability to drive at a faster speed. If you are the recipient of the bad behavior of another person, who knows? Maybe they are angry with you for slowing them down. Maybe it is because they are rushing to a hospital to meet someone with a loved one that's been seriously injured, or perhaps a husband trying to beat the clock to get to the hospital before his wife has their baby. Maybe the whole day has been a disaster. He or she is already angry, and you are just the icing on the cake. One more inconvenience in his already horrible day. But that is what I'm trying to say. We just don't know what the other person's circumstances are in their own life. We haven't walked a mile in their shoes. We shouldn't be so quick to anger with one another, so quick to judge the things that we don't know for certain. That pertains to both the highway and our own lives in general. We are taught from a very early age to play nice with our peers, to share and to be fair with our peers. What happens to all that when we grow up? We don't outgrow good behavior, respectful behavior, or good moral values and manners, but oftentimes, when we grow up, that seems to change in us. Circumstances change us, and not always for the better for ourselves or for those around us that have to deal with us. And in the case of road rage on our highways, some people become very cocky when they get behind the wheel of an automobile. It seems like getting behind the wheel of a vehicle somehow gives us superpowers, or some other authority to act like a complete idiot. That is mild for what I wanted to say, by the way. People act out. People become road bullies. They think they are protected, mouthing off at you, giving you gestures, honking their horn, so long as they are in their own car and you can't readily get to them. Perhaps they have a false sense of security, though. I have seen many people, and known of people, who will follow those individuals to their destination just to give them a peace of mind or an attitude adjustment. People need to stop and think about that. Just because you're behind the wheel of a car doesn't mean you're safe. But as on the road, we have the same altercations in our life day to day. There always has to be that one cocky individual who thinks the world owes them something. It's time to wake up, folks. This world doesn't owe any of us anything. Everything we have on this earth is earned. It's not given freely. Nothing in this world is free. Some of us work for it the good old-fashioned, honest way, yet others of us have it handed down to us from generation to generation, or acquire things by illegal or dishonest means. So what do you think when you hear of the term road rage? It seems to be one of the most commonly used catch-all phrases. Everyone's heard of it and probably even experienced it. However, with this catchphrase is a lot of confusion about what has to take place before it's considered road rage. Along with all the behaviors that I've stated earlier, some may include aggressively cutting someone off in traffic, weaving dangerously in and out of the road, tailgating, cursing at other drivers, and yet some people will claim that the term road rage only applies to incidents where violence breaks out between drivers and passengers, in or around the cars that they are driving. No matter what your belief is on this matter, one thing is certain. Road rage is dangerous. Myself personally, I believe all the things I've mentioned constitute road rage. Did you know that in most jurisdictions, road rage is not considered to be a specific crime? Really? Are they serious? Are they kidding? It can lead to crime. If it's not considered to be a crime, then in my opinion, if it goes that far that you have an altercation, that's too late. It should be considered a crime. It puts innocent people's lives in danger. Please tell me, after listening to this portion of my message, are you clearly starting to see the parallels between road rage on the roads and the road rage being acted out in our day-to-day lives? Folks, we are constantly under attack from every which direction in our lives. We must always remain alert and vigilant. We must remain aware of who is behind us, in front of us, and to either side of us. We must protect and be willing to defend our space, our bubble. That's what keeps us safe. We must be on constant standby with our eyes and our ears wide open to things of this world that will try to invade our lives in a negative way or potentially cause serious harm to our beings and that of our families. Shaziz, I'm going to get you. He says he gets road rage watching me drive. Ditto, man. Anyway, don't let things in your life get so out of hand, out of control, that you find yourself in an altercation with someone that could have been peacefully resolved before the circumstance gets that far along. Be mindful of those people who will also attempt to drag you into a situation that's not your battle to begin with. Perhaps you are an innocent passerby. You may find yourself being the one experiencing road rage, or you may find yourself being the victim of someone else's road rage. Either way, it shouldn't be taken lightly. In most cases of the jurisdictions that are not treating road rage as a specific crime, these behaviors are considered to be minor traffic violations. Again, are you kidding me? Road rage? A minor traffic violation? Come on! That's crazy. Who makes up these laws? I wonder if these individuals at the top, making these fancy tidy-in-the-box laws, have ever been ran off the road with their family in the car. I wonder if someone has ever chased them down in an automobile and decided to give them an old-fashioned beating of epic proportions. I wonder if they've ever lost a loved one to some other enraged, aggressive idiot on the road that believes everyone should just clear the road for him or her just because they think they're just so darn special like that. But it doesn't just happen when we're behind the wheel of a moving vehicle. These behaviors happen all the time. You can see it in the checkout line at the grocery store or at the gas station. You can see this kind of behavior simply walking down the street. Innocent people being victimized by angry individuals who've had a bad day. People who have had a bad day taking it out on everyone around them. You see it manifested in such behaviors as rudeness, bullying, disrespect, yes, even pushing and shoving. I have a story to share with you about myself. Have you ever been to what we Americans call Black Friday? I'm sure other countries have your own names for such events, but Black Friday in America is the day after Thanksgiving. Generally, the purpose of these events are to go do your early shopping for Christmas presents at a very cheap cost. It's a time when you can find huge savings on purchases in department stores all over. A lot of people take advantage of these huge savings by getting up anywhere between midnight to 4 a.m. to get to the stores by 5 a.m. when the stores open. Your goal is to be one of the first people in line waiting when the doors to the store open. The sales are only good for a certain time between certain hours, and it's on a first-come, first-served basis. So usually, if you don't get to these stores at an insanely early hour and stand in these horrifically long, oftentimes freezing lines, waiting for the department store doors to open, then you are quite screwed. If you wait till later, generally anything you wanted to purchase will already be sold out. The first time I ever went to one of these events was to a local Walmart. I had heard the stories warning me of potential dangers of when I was trying to shop. I thought, seriously? How bad can it be? We're all adults here. Come on. Seriously? Wow. I had no idea how serious it could really be. Geez. I thank God I had sense enough to leave my young daughter at home with her dad during this time. That was certainly no place for a young child. I literally had little old women running me over with their shopping carts in order to slow me down so they could get ahead of me and get the purchases before everyone was sold out. There were also people ramming into people with their carts, I kid you not, ramming into each other like bumper cars, just to send them flying out of the race, to lose the competition. I am not kidding. For those of you who live in America, I'm not kidding, am I? It's brutal. I swore after that morning I would never, ever, ever do that again. Huge savings or not, that was not worth it. So for many years I didn't go to these events. Then, last year, I was looking through the ads for this event, and several really super hot sales caught my eye at this one particular store. By the way, it was not Walmart. I could practically get half my Christmas shopping done at one store and pay half or less what I would pay full cost if I didn't take advantage of these sales on Black Friday. So beyond my better judgment, I decided to give it another go. I was seriously traumatized by the whole Walmart event, though, so many years ago. But I wasn't going back to Walmart for Black Friday. This was a different store, so I thought I'd give it another shot. However, I didn't want to go alone, so I asked my grown-up daughter, Kara, by this time, if she would want to tag along with me and keep me company and possibly split up with me, taking half of my list so that we could get in and out of the store as fast as we possibly could, as safely as we possibly could, and hopefully with everything that was on our list. I can't blame her. She said, absolutely not, Mom. No thanks. Thanks, Kara. I have your back too, ha ha ha. Smart kid, though, however. I would probably have told me that too. So I called a girlfriend, and I asked her the same question. Bless her heart, she hates Black Fridays for the very same reason. She didn't want to go. It was so cold that morning. It was the day after Thanksgiving. She didn't have any money to take advantage of the sales for herself, but she went, and she helped me, and she kept me company, even though she didn't want to. We were dressed like we were in the coldest part of Alaska, with our steaming cups of coffee in our hands, snuggled together, holding one another for warmth for 2 hours, with the cold wind blowing around the corner 90 to nothing. Now that is a true friend, I'm here to tell you. We get back to the car. She says to me, "You know I love you, right?" Yes, indeed. But back to my message. That's a very real depiction of road rage. Luckily, on my second adventure with Black Friday, the people we encountered in the stores were much nicer and much more respectable, and no one got hurt. And we were able to get in and out in 20 minutes with everything on my list. And it took 2 huge carts. But with my dear friend coming, we were able to just get in and get out with no one getting hurt. Praise God for that. We came out in one piece, just as we went in. My word of advice: don't try this at home, folks. I can almost hear some of you men listening in the audience, chuckling to yourself, saying, "Silly women, you wouldn't catch any intelligent man out there doing this." You're probably right. It's a woman thing. I know I couldn't beg hard or long enough to get Shaz to go with me that morning. When I left that morning, he was doing what I would have preferred to have been doing, sawing logs in his nice, warm, cozy bed. Ah, the things that we women do for those that we love. I'm going to go ahead and take a short break right there and play you a few tunes. More to come about road rage when I return. Welcome back, listeners. I hope you enjoyed those songs that I threw out there for you. I'm so happy that all of you could join me today. So far, I'd like to believe it's been a pretty good message on the parallels between rage on the highway and rage in our day-to-day life. If you're just tuning in to the Hope Show, welcome. Today's message is road rage, life on the highway. If you are just tuning in, or for those who've been listening but would like to hear the show again, after my show has aired, I will be getting my show uploaded to my podcast page on MSI Radio Seeking Solutions for your listening convenience. If there is anyone who would like to Skype in and share something with the world, please feel free to do so. My Skype address is Beverly 2013. Before the break, I was talking about whether road rage is considered to be a specific crime. I believe there is a very fine line there. For instance, how close is too close for someone to be tailing your bumper? How erratic, speeding and weaving in and out of traffic like a maniac, is too erratic? How far does one go to make the merge with traffic at the cost of running someone off the road in their haste? To what degree is violence, aggression, gestures, bullying on the road, etc., is it considered going too far? Once again, comparing that to our day-to-day lives, how close to someone's private bubble do you have to be for it to be considered as a threat or intruding on someone's private space? How angry does one have to be for you to feel unsafe, setting your own body into defense mode and perhaps striking back? And we have all experienced those aggressive, overly assertive people who will mow you down if you are in their path to a promotion at work, etc. They want to be the person on top. They don't want you to achieve the goal that they wanted for themselves. Some people will go to great lengths to see you sabotaged. I want to take a moment to look at road rage from a psychological viewpoint. Here is the typical road rage mindset. Driving is stressful. So is life. It's dangerous out there, on the road, and in our daily lives. Even the safest driver or the calmest individual isn't truly safe from anything. Don't talk yourself into believing that you're safe wherever you go. You must stay on the lookout for all the people around you in this world. As I said earlier, you have to keep an eye on those around you, behind you, in front of you, and on either side of you. Have you ever heard the expression, "It's not yourself you have to be worried about, it's all the other loonies out there around you"? Well, that is a very true statement. When we journey out, we know we must be careful. If not, it could cost us our life or the life of our family. But on the other hand, the other people out there aren't thinking of our safety or our well-being. They are angry. They're selfish. They're in a hurry for some reason, having their mind on something else and not paying attention, but not really meaning any harm. How many times have you been distracted while driving on the road, and 1 minute you're at point A and the next minute you're at point B, and you really don't even remember the drive between point A and point B because your mind has been on something else? Sometimes you have all those people out there in the world too to contend with. You know, they may cut you off and they may not even know they did it. They may not mean to, but they did, because they're not focused on the road. Sometimes people are just arrogant, self-centered, and bullies. The point I'm trying to make is that there are a lot of different variables in this world that you simply cannot predict, like weather, traffic, accidents, road work, natural disasters, death in the family, poverty, divorce, etc. However, in some instances, people are just simply bad drivers. It makes you wonder how some of these people ever got their license in the first place. Have you ever ridden with someone that scared the life out of you when they drove? And when you got out to your destination and you were able to actually get out of your car, you felt like kissing the ground and thanking God that you made it? In life, some people were never taught good social skills, how to play fair with others, and some just simply don't care. Some people just find joy in doing whatever it takes to make another individual angry, and they want to slow you down and cause inconvenience and strife. Yes, there are those kind of people out there that live to create strife and chaos. This is what makes them happy. Seeing you unhappy, seeing you angry, seeing you upset. I agree. That is one sick, warped individual, but it does happen. These are also some key factors for why the world is the way it is. As with any case, whether it is rage behind the wheel of a vehicle or rage acted out in your day-to-day life, there is a thought progression to finding yourself in this mindset. This thought progression can lead us to make irrational decisions very quickly without thoroughly thinking it through. And all too quickly, you may find yourself thinking, they need to know what they're doing is dangerous and stupid, and you should be the one to show them. In fact, perhaps they should be punished in some way. Or maybe you find yourself saying such rude things in your own mind as well, such as, where did you get your driver's license? From the Monkey Ward catalog? Or, if you can't drive the speed limit, maybe you should just do us all a favor and stay home. Did you forget your glasses today, Granny? Geez, old people shouldn't have driver's license past age 65. Can't you speed it up a little? Good grief. I have places to be today and not tomorrow. Is it your turn off yet? Maybe you might find yourself tailgating, trying to intimidate them to move a little faster. However, maybe you are the one being victimized, and you are just as frustrated because you can't help your circumstances at the moment. Maybe you are in an unfamiliar area. Maybe you've had to slow down to see where you should be turning. Maybe you are lost. Maybe your car is malfunctioning, losing power, overheating. Maybe it's wintertime and your defroster is slow to work, or maybe it doesn't even work at all, and you can't see very well. And yes, I agree, if that's the case, you shouldn't probably be on the road. But anyway, maybe road conditions are dangerous. Maybe you have poor eyesight and you don't feel safe driving any faster than you already are. There are just so many reasons why people do what they do. Sadly, other people don't get that. They don't take time to get that. People think it's not their problem, so stop being our problem. People are so uncompassionate and unkind to each other these days. There is no empathy whatsoever. There is no understanding. Unfortunately, I'm not exempt from road rage. I would be lying to you if I told you that I don't ever experience road rage. Generally, it's due to someone being slower than I want to travel. I'm generally always in a hurry, and I'm generally always late wherever I'm going. I'm generally always in a hurry. Or I will meet up with a farmer on a tractor. Well, you know what? It's not that other person's fault that I'm running late. I should have managed my time better. The farmer, he has things to do and places to be as well. What's he going to do? Fly his tractor from point A to B so that he doesn't interrupt traffic? I don't think so. Some things are just what they are. We need to learn some patience and understanding. We need to, instead of losing our cool and blowing up on someone and potentially being a danger to others, not to mention a real jerk, and we need to learn to take joy in the slower moments. I know this sounds crazy, but all we do all day long is race around. We race around everywhere we go, like chickens with our heads cut off. Busy, busy, busy. Go, go, go. Take this time to breathe. You will get to your destination eventually. What's 3 seconds in time? It'll all work out. Have you ever seen those people that speed by you just so that they can save a few seconds or a few moments, so that you catch up to them at a stop sign or behind that tractor, or see them pulled over by a police officer for speeding? They didn't gain any time on you. They just stressed themselves out, trying to hurry, trying to get around you, trying to get somewhere. But they didn't gain no ground. You will get to your destination eventually. Don't stress over it. It will all work out. The world isn't going to end. It's really not worth giving yourself a stroke over just because plans have been momentarily delayed. It's the same with day-to-day life. Take time out to just enjoy the small things, the moment, the here and the now. Stop and take a break from all the rat race once in a while. Don't let yourself get wound up like an 8-day clock. It's not good for you. It's not good for your health. And it's not good for those around you either. This will only isolate your friends and your family. No one wants to be around someone who's always angry and who's always being a jerk. Driving, as with life, is a communal activity. Have you ever thought about that? A communal activity. You may think of your life or your driving as a personal experience, an expression of freedom. But it tends to increase our stress levels. You may ask, how is life and driving communal? Well, think about this. When you get out of bed in the morning and you join your family, or you go to work, or you go anywhere for that matter, where you may encounter people, then you are no longer alone. Or you get behind the wheel of your car and you join traffic with other people. It becomes a community activity. You are no longer alone. You must each be responsible not only for ourselves, but others too. We must watch out for one another, be kind to one another, help one another, be mindful of how we interact with each other, be respectful, considerate, and understanding. When you join people in the circle of life, wherever that may be, you must understand that each person you encounter has their own set of goals, their own agenda, fears, social, driving, and navigational skills. Possibly the biggest factor of road rage is we, the people, tend to concentrate only on ourselves, while dismissing the rest of the community and the aspect of those experiences. It's very easy to perceive another's actions as how does that personally affect me? Which in turn makes it easy to transition over to road rage, better known as anger. Psychologists have suggested that it isn't really the traffic jams or more drivers on the road or any other number of reasons we perceive as being a good reason for road rage that is the real problem at hand. It's partly our culture, partly our society is to blame as well. If you want to go as far back as childhood, we are socialized to behave, to respond to certain circumstances in our life. Okay, now fast forward for a moment, from childhood to present day. Do you see any reason for conflict? Do you see how certain things, certain learned behaviors from our childhood can affect the present day? In our life? On our roads? Is it any wonder there aren't more accidents on the road or in our life? That to me spells disaster. If you look at the big picture like this, yikes. That is very scary indeed. Along with the ways that we were brought up to perceive things, there's also the media. Watch the growing numbers of television shows and video games that encourage violence, encourage speed, encourage you to get what you want, no matter by what means you have to get it. These ever-changing morals in our society spill over into every aspect of our lives. It becomes a way of life for us. The television shows and the video games encourage breaking the law. People are so desensitized from the world around them that they scoff at the law, any form of law, great or small. The law of life. That is where you start seeing the decline of society. No rules, no respect, no consequences for poor judgment or choices, no consequences for being selfish, and it's all about me attitude. The media portrays lack of law, lack of respect for others, lack of rules, and all these types of negative behaviors to be an exciting adventure in life. Life is a highway. It's a journey, but it's not the destination. Think about some of the programs on your television. Soap operas, news, action-packed adventure movies, movies of crime and suspense, horror flicks, even the drama movies. What one common denominator do all of these have? Each and every one of them have some form of behavior that is pure selfishness and lacking in social skills. In some instances, it is believed that acting out, whether behind the wheel or in your life, can relieve stress. In some places, in some instances, it is believed that venting will solve all your problems and make you feel better. Relieve your anger and your frustration, giving in to it and feeding the negative emotions to release it all. But studies have shown that in reality, it doesn't really work that way. Venting doesn't always help to relieve your anger. And in some cases, it can actually make things much, much worse. It can make all these emotions and feelings escalate until you truly explode on someone. Our society views people who back off or back away from confrontation as being a coward, which in turn creates pressure for the driver of the car or the navigator of life to not give up any ground, to force them in a position of always having to be right, no exceptions. With that having been said, it should not come as any great surprise that people have so many aggressive or violent encounters with other people, be it on the road or in your own personal life. We spend a great deal of time in our life either being around someone or being that someone who is emotionally impaired. So how do we make change? How do we respond to that? For one, we can stay alert. Learn to know the signs. Make every attempt to diffuse negativity. We are each responsible for our own life, our own self. Be aware of your emotional state of mind. Make right choices, even when you feel like acting out in another way. I'm going to go ahead and take another short break. Take this time to stretch your legs, refill your soda or your coffee cup. After the break, we will examine a few more factors that can further contribute to road rage. Rage in life, life, our highway. Welcome back to all of my wonderful listeners and supporters. My husband Shaz and I are always amazed and ever so grateful by all the love, encouragement, and support that we receive from you. We have met some truly wonderful and blessed friends since joining the radio and the YouTube communities. So even though Shaz and I try to remind you frequently of how much we love you and appreciate you, I'm going to say it again. And this probably won't be the last time. Shaz and I are very giving of our praises and appreciations and loves in return. If we are guilty of anything, it would probably be loving too much, if there is such a crime, in which I don't believe that there is. You can never show someone too much love or too much appreciation. I told myself I would not bring this up in my show because I'm sure Shaz already has in his show earlier this morning, but here I am, mentioning it anyway. This past week was Shaz hit a little bit of a rough spot, and there's been a lot on his mind. And as always, his friends rallied round him, encouraging him, loving him, offered to stay with him online and visit. One particular dear friend even went so far as to contact a friend of Shaz's that lives within a few miles of us, in the middle of the night, to come over and help console Shaz and spend time with him because he himself couldn't get here from overseas. You know who you are. And we just can't say enough thank yous for going above and beyond, being a great friend. And so many others of you have also been there in various ways. I don't know what we would do if we didn't have all of you. We would be so lost. Being a part of the MSI family and family with all the other networks is so much more than just listening to solutions, seeking solutions, and listening to good music. It's a family network, a community full of love, support, and encouragement. When one of our family members fall, another, and generally several others, rally around to pick up their fallen brother or sister. It's great fellowship, too, and the sharing of great ideas. You have the opportunity to find awesome friends from all over the world, friendships that last and grow stronger. We are truly blessed. Anyway, I just wanted to let all of you know how much we love you before I continued on to the last leg of my show today. So let's take a look at the anatomy of road rage. A typical incident involving road rage usually happens when one driver decides to act out in anger toward another. Okay, let's stop with that for just a moment. I'm definitely seeing similarities to that of normal everyday anger and strife amongst ourselves. How does that resemble what you see or experience every day? Arguments and confrontations of any kind take two people. And it is not all one-sided. There are two sides to every story. Rarely is there one person that is completely all to blame. Many people experiencing road rage are feeling stressed out about other circumstances in their lives, and something happens while they're in traffic that triggers an aggressive reaction. Yes, the same thing happens even when you're not behind the wheel of an automobile. You're already angry with other circumstances, perhaps out of your control. Then someone or something comes along, adds to the stress level, and sends you right over the proverbial edge. You have been a ticking time bomb, boiling just below the surface, and finally the pressure cooker, known as your brain, goes beyond the pressure limits and boom! The top is shot off like a cannon. How many of you can relate to that description? I know I certainly can. When your stress level is already high in other areas of your life, you become more vulnerable to smaller frustrating triggers and more vulnerable to engaging in irrational behavior. Another thing that triggers our frustration and increases our stress levels is the fact that we are immobile. We are stuck sitting behind the steering wheel, and we can't physically relieve our tension. As in life, sometimes people feel trapped or stuck in tension, stuck in life circumstances, and it creates a pressure cooker effect. These people can be quite volatile and are worthy of being cautious around and even avoiding if the situation merits that much concern. While driving, we also feel constricted because we must drive. Our options are limited, often giving us a feeling of being boxed in. Have you ever felt boxed in by life circumstances? How did it make you feel? How did you react to that? You probably felt really out of control. Even though in some areas we maintain control of our life, there are also other variables that we are not in control of at the same time. So this leads to mixed emotions, confusion, and a strong sense of irritability. When you feel like this, and someone comes up to you, further irritating you, you probably just want to bite their heads off. This is where people need to learn to respect each other's space. If you see that someone looks as if they're having a bad day, then give them a little space, or try to be lighthearted with them. Maybe your lightheartedness will rub off on them, lift their spirits a little, take their mind off of what's bothering them. But do try this with extreme caution. When you see it's not helping, then stop. Walk away. Excuse yourself from the situation. Stop does not mean go. Stop does not mean go. Learn the meaning of the stop signs and heed their warnings. Have you ever known someone who just doesn't seem to understand the meaning of no? They just keep on and keep on and keep on. And then they don't understand, they don't get it when you get angry with them, even though they had been warned many times before. They think we have all experienced, I think we've all experienced those types of folks. I encourage the use of duct tape. Duct tape is supposed to be the fix-all for everything, right? Either for yourself or for them. I'm just trying to throw that in there, a little lighthearted joke about it. But in reality, it's not really a laughing matter when you bump into someone like that. Just like animals, people can become very territorial and react negatively when we feel our space is being invaded or threatened. We also tend to be in denial of our own faults and want to blame others for our circumstances. We all know people can be quite unpredictable too. For all of their predictability and being creatures of habit, we also display actions of unpredictability as well. We humans are very complex. Just when you think you have someone figured out, it turns out you don't. Also, you have to watch out how you gesture to someone. You may be driving down the road, and you may be trying to apologize to the other driver in the other vehicle for something that you readily acknowledge that you did wrong. Yet the other driver may interpret your gesture as something offensive, and the fight is on. They may have perceived a gesture as something insulting. In some cases, actually probably most cases, driving, as in with daily life, road rage has a snowball effect. What starts out as an argument between you and one other person can easily escalate to involve many other people. Before you know it, it's a big mess of massive confusion and anger. When this occurs, all human rationality flies right out the window. You lose sight of all proper perspective because you're just plain angry through and through. You are done. A psychologist coined that term, emotional intelligence, by saying that anger is a seductive emotion. When you get angry, your heart beats faster and your body prepares for confrontation. The rush of adrenaline that comes as a result of real or perceived danger makes it easy for us to give in to anger. It's a real challenge to control ourselves and to behave in a way that's contradictory to how you really initially feel. In other words, road rage tends to happen because it's easy to fall into a trap of directing your anger toward another driver. Sometimes it is far easier in our life to find fault with and to place blame on someone else than it is to accept responsibility for our own actions. One of the big issues with road rage or aggressive living is that the laws vary so much based on the degree or extremity of the situation. Surveys show that what one considers as wrong behavior, another individual doesn't see that behavior as being a problem at all. As with the law, it is here to serve and protect its people, yet even the laws are wishy-washy. I can speak from experience, having been in a relationship prior to Shaz for 3 long years. The relationship was very abusive, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. The one unfortunate thing that I learned out of that deal is that the aggressor has more rights than the victim. The victim has no rights, essentially. Talk about being a backward society. When that kind of aggression between two people is acceptable, there is a very wide range of what is known of as aggression. Some of these behaviors can be summed up as impatience, inattentiveness, power struggles, ego issues, and recklessness, or thinking too highly of oneself and not highly enough of others. So what are some of the ways that you can avoid road rage on your highway of life? Well, I have some good news and I have some bad news. The bad news is that everyone makes mistakes, even us. No matter how skilled you are at driving or socially in life, people are bound to make mistakes. And the worst part about this is sometimes you don't have to be the one making the mistake. You can be an innocent victim of circumstances. You don't have to do anything to trigger someone else's rage. This is because an aggressive person isn't rational. They are not rational to begin with. They are prone to overreacting to certain circumstances, certain situations. However, the good news is that by keeping a level head and a calm point of view, you can help to diffuse these situations and possibly avoid them altogether. Whatever you do, don't add fuel to the fire. Remain calm. Try to keep it in mind that there are more important factors than your displeasure of the situation. Remember, the safety of yourself and others around you is far, far, far more important than who is right or wrong. My message for you today is to try to be courteous to your fellow brothers and sisters in life, and try to be more understanding of what people are going through with their life. Try to show a little mercy and grace. Try to show someone some patience. Sometimes when you encounter an angry driver or an angry individual, it's better to just let them have their own way, for the sake of the safety of all. Backing down does not mean you are a coward. It actually takes more courage to be the better person, to be the wise person, to know when to speak and when not to speak. Choose your battles wisely and carefully, even when it seems unfair to us. It is easy to think that you let the other guy win, but try not to think of it that way. It's more important to think of it as a group experience instead of being one big competition. Try to increase your distance between you and the aggressive driver or other aggressive individuals you encounter on a daily basis. Remember, they are likely under just as much stress as you are. He or she is just really bad at handling it. I'm going to leave you with that note for just a moment, and I'm going to offer Shaziz any last words before I continue with this message. I really don't have much more to contribute today with my message. So I'm going to read some of your messages. You guys have been great today. This has really been a fun show. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. You guys have just been cracking me up out there in the chat box. This has been awesome. And poor Shaziz. Oh, you might say a prayer for him today. No, in reality, this teasing that we've been doing on chat here throughout the show, this is just us. This is our way of life. This is how we are in our real life day to day. We have a lot of fun. We pick on each other all the time. That's what makes the life go round, right? I tell you, he and I, we've been together, we'll be coming up 11 years in September. And that time just seems to have flown by. They do say, you know, that when life flies by when you're having fun, right? It's true. So, Shaziz, where are you at out there? I'm waiting on you to bring me a message. But anyway, I'm really enjoying this show today, and I'm enjoying being here and loving all of you to pieces. Oh, look. Here's a stranger. Nice of you to show up today.
Don't let her fool you. She's going to get ruthless and beat me toothless. That's all I can say about that.
Next time you see him, he may have Band-Aids.
Yeah.
Lots of Band-Aids.
Yeah, in traction. Anyway, don't drive like a knucklehead or like my wife.
Hey!
What? Oh.
I'm standing here. I'm hearing this.
Yeah, sometimes I'm not so bright. But anyway, yeah, man, life is a highway, and we got to learn how to treat each other decent, man. And if you're riding with my wife, buckle up for safety. Keep your fingers on the dashboard and your feet on the carpet, brothers and sisters of the world. Peace and love.
Oh, looks like my daughter's at the front door. Maybe we can get her to say a few words about life and traffic. Come on in here, Kara. Come here. She's being all shy on the radio today. We're talking about life on the highway and road traffic and such. Are you as scared of my driving as Ty is?
Yeah.
Yeah? What the heck?
So,
What have I done wrong that scared you so much?
does my driving scare you worse than your mom's?
No.
Ha ha! I rest my case.
This is a conspiracy. These folks in here in the lab with me, they're conspiring against me.
That's right, because you drive like a knucklehead.
And if our other daughter was here, Jessica, she'd be saying the same thing as Kara. But don't believe them. I'm safe.
Yeah, buckle up for safety if you're riding with Beverly. That's all I can say. Peace and love, everybody.
Well, it can't be all that bad. I mean, everybody seems to be like hanging on for dear life. They got one hand on the rooftop and one foot on the dashboard and the other one on the window, and they're all out there like a spider monkey, for goodness sake. I ain't that bad, surely.
That's because she has two speeds, stop and go. She has both feet on the carburetor at all times in the position of go.
Well, it can't be my fault that our brakes go out quite often. It just can't be. It's not my fault when I start out with a quarter and I still have a dime left over when I stop at a stop sign. Come on.
Stop sign? Oh, let me tell you about stop signs.
That was a stupid place for a stop sign.
All right, like she got this one stop sign she just flat out refuses to stop at because it's out in the middle of nowheresville. And she's like blows through this thing, and I'm about to have a stroke. I'm saying, woman, are you crazy? Your twin could be coming the other direction.
That was a stupid place for a stop sign. Who puts a stop sign right there? My daughter over here, Kara, she's behind me. She's snickering, and she's totally agreeing with Shaziz.
So tell me how
her eyeballs are rolling. Good grief.
When you get in the car with your mom, do you wear the seatbelt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there was 2 seat belts, I think they'd all be wearing 2 seat belts.
Ah,
And I just don't get it. I'm perfectly safe. I'm harmless.
really? All right, play a tune, woman.
Okay, enough of all this fun. I'm going to go ahead and play a couple of songs here. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's message. It's a little early, so I'll be back. I'm going to play a couple of tunes and read some of the messages that's going out there in the chat room and make a few comments on that, and I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Like I said, I've had a lot of fun. I haven't really prepared anything more for the show today, so I'm kind of at a loss for words at the moment. Haha, that never happens. Still sitting out here in the lab with my daughter and chit-chatting with her as well, and reading some of your guys' comments on the chat line. Captain, you always make me laugh, buddy. I love talking to you. I love talking to every single one of you. But, yeah, I don't want to help Shaz out there with the whole hoe shed, you know. He might like that, and he's just not wired for 220 anymore. And bubble wrap, come on, you got to do better than that, Shaz. You probably get stuck in that stuff. And then what would you do? You'd be floating. There ain't no protecting you. Anyway, guys, I only have a few more minutes to the show, so I'm just going to kind of free speech, I guess, kind of wing it. Like I said, I don't have much else prepared for right now and gone through my message. But in reality, folks, I mean, road rage is serious business on the roads, and can also be serious business in your own life.
And my impenetrable fortress will protect me from your wrath, woman.
Oh, yeah. Shaz is over here mouthing off again about his impenetrable fortress. Let me tell you a little bit about that impenetrable fortress of his. He needs to do some work on that. He needs to improve that in some area. His impenetrable fortress consists of about 3 of those throw blankets, you know. They're not even a twin-size bed-size blanket, you know. They're smaller than that. They're a throw, like what you'd, you know, put over you when you're watching your television or something. Well, he'll get about 3 of those, and sometimes he'll get a heavier blanket, and he'll get himself on the couch, and he'll wrap himself up like a burrito, and he'll try to wrap himself up so tight that I can't get through it. It's like a challenge, you know, for me, and so I got to break through it. Well, he's done this on numerous occasions, and it really hasn't fared very well for him, so he really needs to work on that. First time he did that, well, let's see, he's done it so many times, I'll just share a few incidences with you. One time, he was waiting on a call from his brother, and he was supposed to help his mom move that weekend. So he's all mouthing off, and he's all up in his blankets, and he's covered like a burrito from head to toe, can't even breathe hardly. And so I thought, I'll get him. So, on my phone, I called his phone, and I'm only standing maybe 5 feet away. And so, he thinks it's his brother, so he like hurries all up outside of his impenetrable fortress to answer his phone. And I whack him over the head with the skillet. Yeah, how you like me now? So much for your impenetrable fortress. You need to wake up earlier in the morning and get one over on me, Shaz. Then there was this one time he did that, and always, I'm always breaking into his impenetrable fortress. Well, I fooled him. One day, I didn't go get him. One day, I just let him sit under there and cook and bake under the blankets, and I didn't go retrieve him. I just left him there and went on about my business. Finally, he comes up out of there gasping for air a little bit later on. He's like, "Woman, you left me in here." Yeah, I did. There's been a few other times, too. We have fun with that. But, as I said, he doesn't fare so well sometimes. But he's a slow learner. Never stops him from trying. But we have a lot of fun around here. For sure. So anybody else got any comments out there? I'm reading through the chat box. Uh-oh, here he comes. I think I'm in trouble.
Can't we all just get along? Peace and love and all that.
What's some other things that you've done that I got you back?
What haven't you got me back for?
Well,
see, that's the thing, man. If you're going to commit the crime and you got to do the time and all that thing, don't try it with your wife because she always gets even. Huh.
Oh.
But I'll get that impenetrable fortress perfected, and then I'll mouth off at my heart's content, and there ain't nothing you'll be able to do about it because I'll be perfectly safe.
You've been working on this for 11 years. How long is it going to take you to perfect this?
Well, it might take another 11, but either way, I'm not going to give up.
He cracks me up. Gotta love him.
Anyway, you better play a song. You're running out of time, lady.
I've got 9 minutes.
9? She's an amateur. Peace and love, everybody. If you don't hear from me tomorrow, it's because I'm probably getting beat up.
Okay, folks. Well, I'm going to go ahead and play up a few songs out of here. I know that time is going, and I don't want to run over into anybody else's time slot there because everybody's shows are just as important as everybody else's. You know, everyone's equal, and everyone's just as important as the next. So, anyway, folks, I'm going to go ahead and play up a couple songs out of here. Let me find some. Let me play some feel-good songs.
Respect my authority, woman!
Oh, my goodness. Are you listening to him back there? What authority?
I have spoken. Don't make me use my man powers.
You know, he almost got himself killed at Dollar General one day for that. We've gone to Dollar General, and we're in a whole building full of nothing but women. And he and I tease back and forth like this all the time. It's harmless. I know he doesn't mean anything by it. He's just teasing me. But those women in that store, they didn't know that. Man, oh man. That was not a good thing. He got in there. I was looking at some songs there. Sorry about that. He got in there and he's being all mouthy and he's saying, respect my authority, and he's snapping his fingers behind me and he's like, woman, you need to listen, and so on and so forth. And man, them other women in that store, their heads cocked so fast it'd make your head spin. Man, they were ready to do him some serious bodily harm. He was outnumbered. Well, he keeps going through the store and they keep giving him daggers and looking at him, and oh man, it was getting ugly. Well, anyway, he said that one time, and I got him in the shin with my foot, and all the store hears is this, ouch! And all the women laugh at him. Anyway, good times, good times. I'm going to play us up out of here with a few tunes. God bless each and every one of you. Till I see you next time and hear from you. Next Saturday, same time, same place. Everyone have a great week.
Driving home one evening in his beat-up Pontiac when an old lady flagged him down. Her Mercedes had a flat. He could see that she was frightened, standing out there in the snow, till he said, I'm here to help you, ma'am. By the way, my name's Joe. She said, I'm from St. Louis, and I'm only passing through. I must have seen 100 cars go by. This is awful nice of you. When he changed the tire and closed her trunk and was about to drive away, she said, how much do I owe you? Here's what he had to say. You don't owe me a thing, I've been there too, and someone once helped me out just the way I'm helping you. If you really want to pay me back, here's what you do. Don't let the change